Yeah.
I know. I
Yeah.
haven't seen you in ages.
It has been ages, hasn't it?
Yeah, and I can't believe as an adult, we have to talk loud because apparently people can't really hear us.
Can you hear us now?
So we need to talk louder.
Do you want a close up? Get ready for your close up.
Oh, we have to talk down to this phone, isn't it?
I mean,
that doesn't sound good.
You know, I think we're at the stage where we're crossing over all the time. Our eyes probably do this all the time.
But you look like you're looking at the camera. I always look not to look.
You look like you're looking at the camera too.
Well, when I'm looking at you, maybe.
Oh, so we just have to look at each other. Thelma's just back from Gay Paris. Ooh la la.
Yeah, well, it was absolutely amazing. And so all the Caribbeans, like, you know, not all of them, but a lot of them. Okay, so you can get buses and you can get, you can cycle, but all of them scootered, like all the adults scootered in suits. And then they were like, kind of like my scooter out there, a little bit bigger. Well, it's my child's scooter, but I'm now taking it, now owning it.
She's French now.
Yeah, and I have a beret.
Oh,
so
very good.
Beret. We're like a hen party because one of our friends bought berets for all of us. So that we were like,
enchanté.
Oh, très jolie. Geez, I'm talking
We're so multicultural.
I know. Actually, when I came back to Dublin, then I was like, you know, so you saying bonjour, ça va, ça va.
Yeah,
I actually never said it over there. Actually, it's coming to me now that I'm
that you're back.
Yeah, so it's so hard that like when you're on the airplane and you're talking French to people, and then you're back and you're talking Irish. Do you know what I mean? Imagine these people are constantly changing continents all the time, and you have to try and tell your brain, okay, I'm speaking a different language now.
Yeah,
it's kind of like blah, 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 blah. Anyway, yes. So I was told that I did no lift Kira's today, so I scootered.
See?
By myself as an adult.
What's the word I want to use for you? You are multicultural.
Tough, right? Those people that get annoyed with them tags.
Multicultural. Oh, I did a live the other day as well, and I didn't even notice because I was too busy talking and trying to tell the people what I needed to tell them. And it wasn't until I finished and I looked back at the video and went, well, that was nice. It was a mustard cardigan, and the tag was the whole way down here for the full thing.
It doesn't bother me, but it does bother some people.
I know people are strange. Hello to everybody. Now that we've had our little chat and everything, you know, because we haven't seen each other in 6 days.
Yeah.
More.
Yeah, and you've had your poor endo going on again.
Oh, I know, what a pain in the hole.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so good morning and happy Tuesday and welcome. And we are here today to talk about limiting self-beliefs and what we do or how we hold ourselves back. And I think it's a good topic. I wasn't 100% sure, but Thelma verified that it's okay today because we tend to hold ourselves back. So I went to a talk in the Bank of Ireland, or in the AIB actually, in Castlebar. And it was a lady that did a talk for the network that I'm involved in. And her name is Gillian Hartford.
God, you're so good at names.
She is the head of biodiversity for, I'm going to say, Bank of Ireland. It could be AIB and I might get shot, but it's whatever.
A bank.
It's a bank, yeah. And so she's this incredible powerhouse of a woman. And she came on and she did a 45-minute talk. Now, when I listen to people speak, it takes an awful lot for me to go, oh my God. I was like, do you know one of those bobblehead dogs that you put in the car, right? I was like this. Totally
agrees with everything she was
saying. It was crystal, it was perfect. And I was leaning in so far and I was so interested in what she was saying.
You were nearly in her mouth.
I was actually. And so eventually she started leaning into me as well. And then at one point she was like, is everything okay? And like she stopped her speech and I went, yeah, everything is fantastic. I love what you're saying. So what she came down to was, and something that I found really, really good was, she said, when a man and a woman look at a job application, what a man sees is the job is whatever, right? I'm going for, we'll say a manager's job in a bank. We'll just say that, right? And there's a list of things, a list of criteria that you have to meet in order to be good enough to do the job. And the man will look at this list and say there's 7 things on the list and he'll have ticked off 3 and he'll say, right, I'm going to apply for that job, even though he hasn't got the 7 things. And a woman will look at the list and she'll have 6 of the 7, but because she doesn't have the 7th, she'll think she's not good enough and won't apply for the job.
Oh, that's interesting.
Very interesting. And she said this happens time and time and time again. Now, this lady is in her working world and her business for most of her life. And so she's looking at these applications on a consistent basis. And she's also working with people in her team who will apply for positions within the bank. And women just won't go for that position because they don't have all of the things they think they need.
So she knows that because it's like it's an actual tick in the box system.
Exactly.
But it's nothing got to do with what they have in their CV. It's just by ticking the box.
Yeah. So when she was saying this, and she was saying that a lot of the time we tend to hold ourselves back because we don't have something, or we don't feel good enough, or we don't feel important enough, we don't feel superior enough, we don't feel whatever the emotion is underneath it.
Not enough.
Exactly. We hold ourselves back and we don't go for the opportunities that are there.
Or what if I get found out? Oh, if they found out that they're not good at this, then they're going to judge me on that. Yet, as you said, with men, they don't care about that.
They don't care.
Because they've got loads of things, but they're good at bluffing.
And they also can wing it. But they also, and again, this, never think that when we're saying men and women, we're dissing one against the other, or we're comparing.
Because we learn from each other.
Absolutely. So what I'm saying is, men just do it, right? They just do it. They believe in themselves enough to just go and do it. Whatever it is, I'll give it a shot. I'll just go for it. Sure, fuck it, whatever. Women go, oh my God, right, well, what if? Oh, I couldn't possibly, but, and we put these barriers.
Why are we like that? That's so true, because Jamie's always saying, like, tell him if you don't ask, you don't get. And then he's like, and if you don't try it, you'll never know.
Exactly.
And I'm like, oh no, I know, but like, you know what? It might go back to what we were talking about last week, and about the judgment, from other people. And so women, I think it's because we're so emotional, and a lot of us are emotional people, and because of our nature to procreate, like that we give birth and that, and we are growing this baby, that we become very sensitive, very nurturing, and in our nurturing we can be kind of vulnerable to everything, judgment and everything about how we rear our kids. And so we get a lot of that backlash, and like from, I suppose, mainly motherhood firstly, and we might have seen our mothers getting that too. So it's actually ingrained in us from like a very young age, because we're always talking about this, because a lot of conversation is through non-verbal communication, and therefore it's so grained in us that we listen to judgment so much more, whereas men don't get that as much. So they haven't been like bashed down, that they're being judged, and so they end up, it's kind of like, if you like, throwing snow on top of flowers, or like on top of like these budding seeds, if you like, constantly patting the snow on and that. And the men just kind of tend to rise up through, because they don't get as much snow thrown on top of them, but we get so much so that like it gets so compacted that we just can't rise up through it.
It's harder to rise.
So much harder. And then whereas the men are all kind of like, oh, sure, fair play to you, sure, go on ahead, try it out. Whereas women then would, unless you're with a strong kind of confident, competent person, they'd say, yeah, go for it. Like you'd say, go for it, go on, try it, why not? Whereas other women, because they're in the same boat, they have their inferiorities, and they're also saying, yeah, go for it. Now listen, oh yeah, don't worry if they say this. Yeah, no, this will be okay. Yeah, no, try. And even if they're saying, yeah, dude, there's
a face.
Yeah, and as we said about gestures, or it could be the body language, you're going, oh yeah, you should, yeah. But really,
and turning away from you because they don't believe it.
Or even if you don't have fears, and going, oh, well, that'll be great now, but what about, say, if your kids were sick, or who takes time off, or they're putting their fears onto you. So like, Jesus, like, how can you ever prosper and grow when we have all of that? And I don't mean that out of badness or about women or anything like that, but really like how we manifest like stuckness, if you mean such a word, that we all stay in the same boat. And some of us don't do it to put others down, but it's from our own fear. So how do we get past all that?
Well, funny, now Thelma will laugh when I'm about to say what I'm about to say. I don't even know why.
Give me heads up before we go online here.
This is your fault that I'm about to say this, because it's something that you've just said. So when we have strong, look at your face.
I just thought we just turn whisper.
So when we have a strong role model, I can't even believe
I'm
about to say this.
Get it out now, because I'm getting all hot and bothered.
When we have a strong role model in our life, in maybe in one sense, then we obviously model what they do. I can't believe I'm going to say this. My mother never shied away from any experience. I'm not even sure. I can't even believe that I'm going to say this. Never did she shy away from any experience. She was front and center for her life the whole time. And she tried so many different things and she just went for it. And she was the type of person, very masculine energy.
I'm sorry, I just have to take this all in.
I know, me too.
So
no, don't say that. Don't say those words. We might get to them in a minute. So I've obviously always been like that. I'll always just take the chance. I'll just do it anyway because of that masculine energy, that very strong. And it's not about men and women, it's about energies. And actually I was on a mastermind earlier on and a guy said that. Because I've always thought this, and it was Richard Branson who said, if somebody offers you an amazing opportunity but you're not sure can you do it, say yes, then learn how to do it later. And I remember saying that to you maybe a year and a half or 2 years ago. Do you remember pre starting your own business? And it was a case of just say yes and then go for it and pushing those boundaries. But we don't often have someone in our corner who is just that type of person, who's saying just do it, just get up and do it. Of course you can do it, and don't worry about the stuff that you don't know, because you're going to figure it out anyway.
But there's a turning point, like say, so I can only speak from my perspective on things, and it's no judgment if anybody has kids or not, because we learn things different ways and, you know, and along different paths, whatever, so we generally all come to the same kind of conclusion. But like say when you've got kids, you're constantly saying, oh, you can do it, you can walk, you've fallen down, go on, you can do it, get up, oh my god, that's great, oh my god, and like, oh my god, you're the best of this and you're the best of this and you're fantastic and believe in yourself, you know. And like I do all this for my kids, like Jesus Christ, I'm so contradictory. Like if I could only give myself like an eighth of what I give my children, you know. And like, you know, I was okay, I need to stop playing with these are like distracting me. But so I was in the sitting room one day and I heard Jonah saying to Moses, I'm really good at this, like I'm brilliant at this, like I'm so good at it. And I was just thinking, like, you know, Moses didn't say anything, but I was like, oh my god, good on you, Jonah, for like really like embodying what you are good at. And you know, it's interesting, I'm interested to watch who his friends are going to be, and if I hear anybody saying anything to him to dim that light. But as parents, like, well, you're different because you're always telling Josh how great he is, but at what point then do you try and dim down their light? Like I would probably feel maybe in their teenagers, I don't want them to get bullied, and I kind of feel that I might say to them, like, you know, okay, well that's really great that you feel that you're good at something, and that's really good, but like other people don't like you to maybe say that or be boastful about it, so just keep it to yourself. I have a feeling that, like, thinking about now, I could feel that might come up, and then I have to notice who am I and what am I doing in that moment, and see, can I allow them to carry on doing that, and if I can teach them like enough confidence that they can support why they're good enough, you know, and if they can support that, then they won't get bullied, you know. Isn't it funny how bullying's kind of coming into this today, you know? It comes into a lot of things. Because it's true, you know, when you shine your light.
I did it with Josh. Did I tell you that story about the 2 different shoes? I think I did, didn't I? So Josh was, I think, 7. So like, I've never used the word embarrassed. I never taught him the word embarrassed because I think it's one of these really useless emotions that's pointless. So I never taught him the word, so he never knew it. And then one day he came down and he had 2 different shoes on and he was going to school. And I went, all right, you know they're 2 different shoes, right? And he goes, yeah. And I went, and you're okay with wearing them? And he goes, yeah. And I said, okay, that's cool. So we headed off, and just before we got out of the car, he brought his other shoe with him and he put them back on. And I said, what did you do that for? And he goes, oh, because I wanted to. So about 3 or 4 days later, he put the 2 different shoes back on again, and he said, no, I'm going to school with them now this time. So I said, okay, well, we need to have a conversation. And I said, and I need to make you aware of something. I said, you do realise that your friends are going to laugh at you? And he goes, are they? And I said, absolutely. I said, it's a really weird thing to do, to put 2 different shoes on. I said, I like weird and you like weird, but I need to let you know that this is what's going to happen. And he said, well, why would they laugh at me? And I said, because they're going to think that it's weird. And he said, but weird is okay, isn't it? And I said, oh, it's totally okay. But I said, are you okay with them laughing at you? And he turned around and he said to me, yeah, I'm fine. I'm just going to tell them, well, I like them. And I was like, oh, yes. Yeah. And he went off into school. Even the parents at the school gate at the end of the day came to me and said, oh, you'd know he was your child with the 2 weird shoes on. And I'm looking at them going, no wonder your kids think that it's weird because you're showing them that this isn't okay, that everything that people do isn't normal.
Yeah.
And he came out and I said, how did you get on? And he goes, yeah, there was a few people that said to me, all right, well, that's weird, Josh. What are you doing that for? And he said, I just said, well, I like it this way. So, you know, that's cool.
Yeah.
And off he went. And that was it. And what I teach him all the time is own yourself 100%. So your weirdness, your normalness, your all of you-ness, own it 100%.
He was able to disconnect
completely
what he was doing, how he felt with what they were saying.
And
because really it's a mirror.
And if you look at people who are really cool, right, say the in crowd or the cool crowd. So if you look at what they do to be that way, right, they behave in a certain way, like they don't care about what other people think about them. So they're almost untouchable.
Yeah.
Not because sometimes they're in a clique, but because they're behaving like they don't care. So when you can't touch someone's feelings and you can't hurt someone's feelings, there's no point doing it. It becomes pointless. So when you behave like you don't care and then you just don't care what other people's opinions are, nothing they say can affect you. So they'll just stop because it's pointless.
But it takes you a long time to get to that point. And it, like you take Lady Gaga, for instance, like, dare she wear anything like that when she was younger? Do you know what I mean? And then she would have probably got bullied and severely bullied and stuff like that. But the thing about it is, I know that my nephew got so severely bullied, it was all over the papers and everything. And I'm not going to get too much into that because it's not my story to publicise really. I'm only just, it was on the papers anyway, so we'll just touch on it. But like Harry, and I'm not just saying this because I'm biased. If he's on Facebook, you can check him out. And some of you might know him in town anyway. Harry is so good looking. He's got like, he's really like Spanish, you know, features and that. And very tall. And basically, if you were to pick somebody that might get bullied and pick somebody that you wouldn't get bullied, like you could imagine association, Harry probably being the cool gang, and he's got everything that fits that thing you'd see on TV, but popularity and everything. And yet he got so severely bullied, like he got taken down really bad, like to the point that he didn't want to be here anymore, you know. So the bully was going to like win, and everybody turned against him, and even his family, like, what are you acting this way for? Why would you do something like that, you know? Because the bully was so good at manipulating the whole situation. So it doesn't really matter whether you wear, like, say, you know, two different shoes. They're going to bully you if you wear glasses, if you don't wear glasses, if you're beautiful, if you're not beautiful. If somebody has got such seriously strong insecurities in themselves, they are going to take you down if you mirror for them. If they're like, we went back to jealousy before, that if somebody is jealous of you, they will take you down somehow, you know. And so going back to like saying with you, like about shining your light, and how do you be the strong person and do what you want to do in life and not let other people pull you down with them
and not hold yourself back.
Yeah.
And I think that's it comes down to, and we'd love to know what you guys think, it comes down to what you're willing, hey Gaggy, how's it going, what you're willing to tell yourself on a daily basis. Like, what practices do you implement for yourself to tell yourself that you're okay in the world and the way that you're being is a good way to be? And then how do you teach yourself to be the best version of yourself? And how do you live the best life you can possibly live? Because when you do those things in that sort of sequence, then you won't hold yourself back. But sometimes it can be quite hard to do that when you're in the wrong company or you haven't been given the right values. You know, when you become an adult, that doesn't really apply because we have choice. So we are intelligent human beings.
No, I agree and disagree with that. When you say it's different because we have choice as adults, but in that, like, do we allow ourselves to choose? Like, there's times that we may want to be, like, for instance, for me, I hate confrontation, and if somebody hurts, hi Gaggy, if somebody say something to me and it hurts my feelings, I find it very difficult to speak my truth and to say, hold on a second here, I don't appreciate what you did, because I hate the after effect then when there's silence, and then what do I do with that? And then how do you kind of get past that then to your normality, or, you know, let it go and move on? So when you say you've got choice, and we're adults, we can do that. Oh God, I don't know. I don't know if it's deep grain stuff inside in us, or, you know, just because we're an adult and we have got choice doesn't always mean that we do make the choice.
But we still
because
have
we
it.
hold ourselves back.
This is the thing. So that's why we're holding ourselves back, because we're not choosing that. We're not being our real authentic self. So you're talking about speaking your truth. And I know what you're like. And I know what comes at the back end of that. But we have that choice to say, okay, in this moment, I'm going to step up for myself and I'm going to say I'm not okay with this situation. And whatever happens, I'm okay with, because I've just chosen to speak my own truth. And it's really hard. It's not easy at all, especially when it's something that you haven't done before or when you're just practicing doing it. But that's where practice comes in. And I think a lot of the time we'll do something that's really good and really powerful, and then there'll be a backlash and we'll retreat because it's fear and it doesn't feel good and it's awful and you're hurt. And so when you retreat back, you tend to stay at that lower level of yourself. So you're hiding your own awesomeness or your own light or whatever you want to call it, because something bad has happened. But imagine if you did something again. You'd have less backlash the next time, and again, and you'd have less, and suddenly...
I think it's to detach yourself from the backlash, because that's not yours then, that's theirs. And I think that's the key. If we can detach ourselves from backlash, that's the actual key, because that kind of prompts you then to do it again and again. Whereas when you are speaking your truth, and if it's not the same as somebody else's truth, then what happens is oftentimes then they go into like defense mode and they want to justify what it is that they had to say, and like, how dare you question me? But you can have difference of opinion. And so it's in that moment then I'm like, breathe, and I can feel like my mouth is getting all dry and my eyes are going to start tingling, and then I go all quiet, and then I'm like, oh my god, so how will I start a conversation now after we've spoken about this and what we do? And I'm like, and I go, okay, take a breath. And you see, that is just what happens. Like, say, if somebody is mature enough and have done work on themselves, that they can hear what you have to say, that's your truth, and be okay with that, because it's not like you're attacking the other person. You're saying, look, by the way, I'm not comfortable with this. These are my boundaries. This is my truth. And is there a middle ground that both of you can come together?
A friend of mine said something really funny. We were having a conversation like that. Everyone can have a difference of opinion. Just because I don't agree with your opinion doesn't mean I don't like you and we can't be friends. It means that we have a difference of opinion and we can talk about it or not. I find religion a big one. I don't talk to anybody who's really religious about their beliefs, because I find that there's no point. Because if you're a very intensely religious person and we get into an argument or a disagreement or a debate or whatever you want to call it, then I'm never going to change your mind to my opinion. So why would I bother? And it's not because I am saying I don't care about what you think. I'm saying I totally care about what you think, but it's what you think. And then what I think is something completely different. So there's certain things I think that you can just say we don't need to have the chats about, because we know it's not going to go anywhere and we don't want to have an argument. This particular person turned around and he said one day, he said he was having a conversation with somebody and they were really disagreeing with him. And I mean, like, vehemently disagreeing with him. And he turned around and he said, you're 100% right from your own mindset.
100%.
And I went, that's class, because it's a great comeback.
Yeah.
So you're kind of dissolving the whole debate. You're absolutely 100% right from your own mindset. But people, like, obviously you're going to get people who'll be defensive even at that.
Yeah, but that's the ego, you see.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Absolutely. Gaggy, girls, I think it depends on the person that you're having a confrontation with, like with teachers, the boss, family, 100%. Oh God, totally. Some people can actually take on board what you're saying, and then some people, because of their status or their level or whatever, will actually have a very different comeback for you.
I think it depends on every situation, you know, because, say, for instance, I remember in school one time, because I was really bad at spellings, and I remember that the teacher wrote cauliflower, but it's cauliflower, but I knew it was flower because we had fruit and veg shops. So I was like, whoa, I know what spells on that. And then you see my ego come in, because I was young, and I was like, oh no, it's actually cauliflower. And then she's like, no, it's not. And she's an English teacher, and she was kind of like cross with me. And then of course I just bowed down and I was like, okay, because it didn't really matter, like, you know. But you know, so in those circumstances, like, say I knew something, but part of my ego came in, because I was like, well, I want to show them that I actually do know something. Do you know what I mean? And I met her ego. Yeah. So we met each other in it. We met each other's
shadow self.
You know, homework, basically, if you like, you know. Yeah. And so, yeah, exactly. And in that there's friction, and then she wasn't going to give in because she didn't want to look stupid. And I gave in at the end because I didn't give a shit, but I got my point across, so I got my ego seen, if you like. And so you know, I was young at the time, but in that now there's learning, because it's better to be, what's the saying? It's better to be, it's better to be nice than to be right sometimes.
Yeah.
So even if there's times like, you know, if you're having a conversation and you're at a dinner party with a few mates or whatever, and somebody's expressing something. Sorry, my back's so sore. Somebody's expressing something, but you know it's actually not factual what they're saying. Not that they're lying, but it could be like a statistic they're talking about, or it could be about how the motor of a certain engine works in the car, and you're a mechanic, but you haven't told them that, and you know the answer. But you don't want to show them up in that moment that, oh, well, no, actually, it's this. You don't need to. It doesn't matter. It's not the point. She's telling a story or he's telling a story for whatever reason. We don't need to be right in every moment.
You pick your battles.
Yeah. Now, there are times that, you know, somebody gets under my skin and then my ego shines through. And if I know it's right, I'm like, well, actually, that's wrong. And then we kind of like, you know, go around that.
Have a little bit of a
ego. And a part of me at the back is clapping myself in the back, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And then you're totally red-faced if you're completely proven wrong, or if you come along. Kira's got amazing. I met a girl on holidays. Oh my God, she's just like you.
Really?
Oh, stop. Like, she's very good at boundaries and everything else. It's great. But she also remembers everything you say.
I love it.
And I was like, okay. I never fight with you. I never say anything wrong. You know, so yeah.
Or will be held against you in a court of law.
Yeah. But yes, it does, Catherine, depend on who you're with and if it's parents, and depending on
and teachers have massive egos. Oh my God. And yeah, I'm totally cool with saying that there are some teachers who just they are overrun with their own ego, and they will not see your point of view, and they will not do anything that's outside of their scope or their comfort zone or anything like that. That's something that I find very hard to deal with, because I'm very strong in my opinions, and when I know something is wrong, I'll happily voice it. And so I've had my share of coming up against a head-to-head, like two bulls.
But do you get like a secret kind of like you like that? Like you like
oh no, I hate it. I hate confrontation on a whole other level. It drives me nuts on the inside. But what drives me more is knowing that I have to fix something. So my level of it's nearly a fear. I just hate confrontation. But the other side of that is, I'm not standing for it. So I will go for it and I will fix it, or I'll sort it out.
Okay. If it's very important to you.
100%. And there's so many times that I will say, no, I'm not getting into this. I'm not going to deal with this, because there's no point.
Well, you've got better at stepping back, whereas like knowing, like if you were doing something for somebody else, you're like, well, how much of my time am I going to use up for somebody else, and how much is enough? But I'm so much better at standing up for other people, and I go guns blazing. I'm like, like, you know, it's not okay that you spoke to her like that. It's not okay that this, that, and the other. And then, could I do that for myself? No, I'm like, I don't like when you do that to me.
But you're so, I won't, you're getting very good at it, particularly in one space.
Okay, we might talk about that again another time.
Yeah, and I would love to see you become the person that you are in this particular space,
in all spaces.
In general. And we'll talk about
Watch
that
this space.
Yeah, it's very good. It's very good. And even when I listen to you do it, I'm like, oh, damn, who's she? She's so really strong. Yeah.
But then you can have people who like to correct you in conversation, like if you say the wrong name of somebody, or if you say the wrong place by accident, or something else, like that gets under my skin, because like, you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm trying to say. So at the end of the day, like, why? Okay, I can understand that there's learning in some of it for me, and I can, by the way, I'm not saying you, because I'm wondering, trying to get inside your head. Is she talking about me right now?
I'm still looking at your eyes and mouth, so that's pretty much all I'm thinking about right now. Okay. So don't worry.
You're meant to think of what I'm saying. But anyways, yeah. So you've completely now fluffed me up and everything, and kind of
people messing you up in conversation.
Yeah, no, just because is it because of their own ego? Like, okay, I don't mind if someone says to me I said a place wrong, so therefore I can learn from that, and I'm like, oh, thank you very much. But if they do it all the time, or every now and again,
well, some people are overthinkers.
That just drives me nuts, because are they doing it because they're perfectionists and that they need to know that they're doing everything 100% right because they know all the answers, or are they doing it because they want me to look bad?
Well, no. Some people, hey John, how's it
And
going?
that's just ego. Hi, John.
Some people are overthinkers, right? So this is not a criticism to you, but you overthink things. You think about things so much. So when you're in conversation with people, and you'll think about what not to say and what to say in order to not hurt somebody's feelings. Some people are like
And
that.
then hurt them in the fucking in the midst of it all.
No, you don't, and you never do it intentionally. You really don't. But some people are exactly like you, and they go into a conversation and they overthink things to the point where they're really emotional. Other people are like so direct that they don't overthink things. So for you, if you said Drogheda instead of Drogheda, their first thought would be, that's the wrong way to pronounce it. It's Drogheda. That doesn't come from a place of, I'm going to fuck with Thelma today and wreck her head. It comes from a place of...
No, but if they do it quite a bit, then...
That's just annoying.
That drives me crazy.
That's just annoying.
Yeah.
But then
Not
maybe...
saying that I'm so thick that I don't know anything either, you know. But,
She's very intelligent. We know this about you.
So funny.
We do.
Because I know another girl who, like, would... she's dyslexic, and so she'd mix up different things, and I'd never correct her. And I know, even if I didn't know that she was dyslexic, I just wouldn't do it, because
of course not.
Who cares? I know what you're trying to tell me, and if the sentence, what is that? You know, when you're reading something and all the letters are all jumbled up in a word, but apparently if the first letter and the last letter are in correct order, you can actually read the paragraph.
Oh yeah.
You see them oftentimes on Facebook. So like my friend then, if my friend has got pretty much the gist of what she wants to say, right, and as long as I can understand her, that's all that matters.
Yeah, but we're not here to correct each other's
vocabulary
conversation.
Or you get that, how many of you guys get that on Facebook, like, you know,
grammar Nazi.
I put down something, what was it? Breadwinner, and I think I put down BREAD, and somebody put on it, I just can't get past the whole breadwinner, and I'm like, are you actually kidding me? Are you that pathetic?
What's wrong with breadwinner?
Well, apparently I spelled it wrong.
Let's Google.
And so she couldn't even read the comment because she couldn't get past the misspelling. And I'm like, are you actually kidding me? Like, are the people actually that pathetic? Do you know?
Breadwinner.
Oh, look at that.
Don't you feel vindicated? Well done. Hi, Thelma's ego.
I do that so often. That's just giving up my power, like, you know, to somebody else. Yeah. Yeah, I know that.
But it is crazy. So is that one of the ways that people hold other people back, or is that one of the ways that we hold ourselves back? Like, that's a good one actually. Do we give up our power? Do we think that we're not good enough in any given situation so that we can't move forward? And what does that look like? We'd love to know what ways you think you give up your power and when you do it. So,
will I give you an example?
Go for it.
Okay, so I've just done a yoga teacher training course, right? And I did it because I was told with fibromyalgia it'd be good for me, right? And I'm quite good with kind of talking out, and, you know, I had a salon for a long time, so, you know, I'm just used to talking to the crowd, I suppose. I know I get nervous coming on here initially, but the nerves...
Once you get in the flow, you're fine.
Yeah. But anyways, so I can't practice yoga as often as I'd like to do it, say, right? And because of the way my body reacts, and I'm like, it's so contradictory. I'm trying to be mindful, to start listening to my body, to give it what it needs, and that can be difficult because sometimes I need rest, and with that then I have this thing in my ear going, but Thelma, you need to keep on going, because it's past condition from my dad that, you know, no matter what, keep on going, on going. So I've done that for so many years that I wasn't listening to myself, because, you know, what if somebody sees you like that, or they won't believe you because they were saying that, oh sure, there's nothing wrong with you, you're just lazy, you don't want to run around the leisure club track or whatever. Anyway, so I've been battling with myself there last year that, hold on a second, I have done my yoga teacher training course, I'm trying to listen to my body and be mindful with everything that's going on with it. I need to take rest when I can take rest, right? And then not this last 2 weeks, but just 2 months before that, then my whole body seized up. I was in such an amount of pain. And at the back of my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I've just done this yoga teacher training course. I need to start teaching. So then, right, like, this has been so honest, right? So then I went on to Facebook and I was looking at all these yoga teachers, and then I was on Instagram, and all these are like fucking ballerinas, and they can all like, they're like elastic bands, they bend themselves in all these amazing ways, right? And then I literally was like, I'm so bad. Like, I was literally thinking in my head, like, Jesus, like, how long will it take me to get to be like that? So how could I possibly coach somebody? And yet, with all of my past history of all my cactuses that we talked about before, and come through all that, I actually, in my mind and in my body, I know I got so much to offer, and I know how I want to teach, and I know I want to do like enough of mindfulness and really get into the body and see how it flows and see how it feels and really do all that type of work. And I'm thinking, Jesus, why don't you just get out there and do it? And I set up my Facebook page, She Whispers Yoga Community, and then I set up a Westport yoga group so that we had all the like yoga teachers on there together. And so doing this, I'm trying to put some external pressure on myself. So I'm doing all this. And I'm, excuse my language, I'm scared of my shit to go out and teach yoga because I'm so crippled with worrying about people thinking, oh, she's not good enough, or she's not like the rest of them in Westport, because we have such an amazing amount of teachers. I know we all teach differently. I know we've all different levels of experience. I'm only on the beginner stages, but in that I could still maybe offer some stuff to other people who want to do things slowly. And I'm telling you this, and I'm just doing exactly what you want to talk about here today. I just won't give myself the permission or the courage to say, feel the fear and do it anyway. Just get out and do a class. And I met a teacher, my old teacher who was in 6th class, and she said, Thelma, book a room somewhere in some hotel, just give it 6 weeks and try 6 weeks and see how you go. And I said, you know what, you're right, I'm going to do that. And then I look at Instagram and I'm like, oh geez, no, I can't do that.
So 2 things. First of all, I know this, but also I know that you have such an amount to give. And if you were open to giving it, so if you look at it this way, rather than looking at what you're not good at because of anything else you've seen, think about what gift you're going to give other people coming to them from where you're actually at. You're a person who's in pain, whose body has spasms, whose back locks, who isn't super duper flexible, because you're not on that level that all of these other people are at. But the
At the
thing
moment,
is,
it's my goal.
and that is, but you don't even ever have to be. You know, you could be if that was a goal. That's perfect, but you don't ever have to be, because you have so much to offer right now to the people who need it. Look at the amount of people who have fibromyalgia, who have chronic pain and chronic fatigue in Westport. Imagine if they saw a teacher like you who was coming to them really authentically.
Gets up and shows up regardless.
Yeah, but like you could go in and you could say on a day that you had a class booked and suddenly you were in pain, you could go into that class and you could retailor your class based on what your body could do. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't give yourself half enough credit.
You're so
yeah,
silly.
she is. See, and her and Philly, and they will. They're hilarious. Gaggy and Philly are just hilarious.
You should do your own show, guys.
Yeah,
they were going amazing together.
So imagine if you did that, right? Like you, and I know already, I'm going to set you a challenge.
Oh, Kira.
Oh, these are such perfect moments.
I see, I'm such a perfectionist, and then like when
Yeah,
someone
whatever.
sets me, so when somebody sets me a challenge, I'm like, I have to do this.
So great, on air and to all these people, I challenge you to contact Kate Hughes today. I've already messaged her.
Oh yeah.
And she has a space above the sewing surgery, just so everyone knows. And it's the perfect space. It's small and perfectly formed. You could probably fit like 7 or 8 lovely people in, and it's warm, and the sun comes in the window.
I think this is my moment to say, give me joy in my heart, keep me singing.
So guys, do you think she should do
Oh,
it? Because I
Jesus.
do. I really do. And
Talk
she's been
about
saying it for
external
so
pressure.
long.
I'm
And it's
exactly
fine.
what actually you were talking about today. I just
know.
didn't think it was going to backfire on me.
Neither did I, but how good is this? So Thelma's going to set up her own class for yoga in the coming weeks, right? So she's going to contact Kate today because I know she really wants to. And I've already messaged Kate and laid the ground rules. I told you this weeks ago.
I'm on the cusp, and I have been for a long
know.
time.
But if you're on the cusp for any longer, you're just a fence sitter, and you're too good to be a fence sitter.
Yeah. Like, give me like a challenge in hairdressing or anything like that to see, because you see, the thing about it is, you're nervous when you start out doing anything. So I was nervous when I started out doing hairdressing. And thanks, Anya.
Yay, on you'll go.
And you know, when you're in a small town, actually, this is another thing that we might talk about. Or actually, we could talk about it in this conversation. When you're in a small town, what time is it?
It is 12:19.
Okay. When you're in a small town, people don't. Well, actually, no, I don't want to offend people in Westport, but I mean all towns. When you're in a small town, people don't generally want to give the local a chance to prove themselves.
Well, we chatted about this last week, and it is quite hard to find support. But I think it's can be quite different for yoga when you find the right yoga teacher. And I think that's why you set up that community page on Facebook, because you wanted everybody in Westport to be able to try out different teachers. And I know Derek Dark is looking at doing something. I know I'm not speaking out of turn when I say that, and it would be fantastic if he set up a studio where all teachers could come and teach together. That would be amazing, because then you could come in and you could pick and choose.
Yeah, because I just feel like, say, in regards to any community, so we just say yoga, or look at so and with doctors, not only do you want them to be good, but you want to be able to connect with them. The same with a teacher in the school, you want them to be good, but you want you and your child to be able to connect with them. A hairdresser, you want to be able to have the crack and the hairdresser to listen and understand you and to be good at their job. And then say with a yoga teacher, you want them to have the knowledge for them to obviously teach yoga to you, that you're learning from them in that respect. But also you want to be able to connect with them again. Like a lot of it is all about connection. And somebody might like me because the way I look, somebody might like me because the way I speak, somebody might like me because how I run my class, or maybe because where I have the studio, and some might like me because I'm female, you know, and all the sames for the men out there and everything else, you know.
So the moral of the story is Thelma's going to set up her own class, and she's going to talk to Kate Hughes. So just make sure that anytime you see her in town, you just give her a whole. So when you're setting up your class, Thelma, but it's so good for you, and it'll be so good for you to do. And then you won't.
I do this for other people.
I know.
When it's on your own doorstep, it's like.
Yeah, but then you'll be practicing your yoga, so you won't be kicking yourself for not practicing your yoga, and you'll be doing it in a way that's good for your body and that works for you.
Okay.
Oh, we're back to that one again, are we? That's nice. Okay, did that feel good? How does that make you feel?
Uncomfortable.
Winner. Okay, so we'd like to know how you guys hold yourself back, and why do you do it, and what format does it take for you?
You mean like, say, in all spectrums? So you have like work, you have going to the gym, you have
personal, going out,
and even starting like a college course at an older age.
Yeah.
And then what that brings up for you, I know people think I'm not intelligent, or I was not good in school, so I maybe I won't be good now.
Yeah.
But we know that if you pick something as an adult that you think you like, the interest is already there, and that makes the difference. You have to have the interest if you want to learn something. Whereas, like, you know, we had to learn like history and geography and whatever. And if you're not into history and geography, then you're not going to learn it, you know.
And also going out. So do you hold yourself back from going out to social events for a specific reason? Because of the way you look, because of your size, because of the people that you don't want to meet, because of your nerves around how people will look at you? Or are you not going for a job because you don't think you're good enough, or you don't have the qualifications? And FYI, jobs these days, oh my God, you need so many things for them. But at the end of the day, experience is what counts. Although Gaggy might disagree due to the fact that she's managing a spa. So obviously qualifications are really important.
I know for me, for instance, like, have you got a degree?
No, I have a rake of diplomas.
You've got a rake of diplomas. So I have just the hairdressing one, and I really beat myself up that I'm not intelligent enough. Like, really, so much so, because
maybe we'll go back to college and do a degree, Thelma.
I know.
We should.
No, Ciara, because you're so brainy and you're so academic, and like you just
and what? You're a lemon?
No, I know, but I have to work harder than what you do. Yeah, I know, but
why are you comparing yourself to me though? See? Boom. So let's go to a degree.
Because it'll be...
I want to bypass degree stage actually and just go and do a master's, because I've got so many diplomas. I now want to just do something but trying to find a master's is impossible. Anyway,
but you're really good at applying yourself. But anyways, yeah, so that for me
Hi Ita. Ita's my cousin.
Hi Ita. That for me stops me getting any job that I want. Like, excuse me, I was talking to a girl at the weekend, and she's in recruitment, and how she talks about her job and what she does, and she's in sales, and I'm like, oh my God, I love that. Like, I love that. And she goes, I'm going to tell you that you'd be really good at it. I wouldn't even get in the door. I've got no degree. I've got no nothing. I've got a hairdressing like diploma. Woo-hoo! Actually, you know what? I don't mean that disrespectfully for anybody else who has that. But when I want to go for something like that, the reason I'm like, oh, is because it holds you back. They just look at a piece of paper, and she said no. She's up at the top of her game now, and she said, but I do have this now, right? I do have this, I think. She said that employers are now looking at how they're going to employ somebody going forward. And it's not going to be looking at like degree purposes or diplomas. Okay, in some jobs they will need to do that. but they're looking at the emotional intelligence of the person.
We're
Woo,
rocking.
woo.
So we don't need degrees.
So I could be employed at pretty much anything. And we might do a video sometimes about
God.
emotional intelligence, because that is
And
amazing.
I've just had an epiphany.
Oh,
but it's for
gosh.
off camera. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So-
okay, we better rock and roll here, ladies.
So
and
we
gentlemen.
want to know the way you hold yourself back and how you've done it, or if you've done it in the past and how you've overcome it. Because we're always really interested to find out what people do and how they do it.
Yeah.
And
actually, on the Aware course that I did, that was one of the things they said. How do you hold yourself back? And they said, even if it was a case that you really wanted to bake brown bread, or you wanted to do something like that with your kids, or you wanted to paint a picture and you never allow yourself to do it. So as you had said earlier on so many levels, how do you hold yourself back? What is it that you do?
So many levels. And then just to finish up, remember that quote by Richard Branson. So if somebody offers you an amazing opportunity, just say yes, even if you don't know how to do it, because you can figure out and learn it later. Okay? Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
I'm about to blow her mind now with an awesome idea.
And Kira and myself are also on YouTube under Kira.
Heenan?
Jeez, Kira, in that moment, I forgot your surname. How
Oh,
did
I
even
forgot
happen?
someone's first name one day and I'd known
Oh, that
them
happens
for
to me all the
years.
time. That happens to me all the
It's
time.
awful.
And Thelma Gibbons on YouTube, and also I'm on Thelma Gibbons That's Life, where I'll be sharing this video also, so come and have a look.
And we will see you Friday from Thelma's page.
Yes, guys, I'm sorry I missed last week. I was in Paris, and
You should have done a live in Paris. That would have been epic.
I know, but I have to take time away from the girls then, and no. Yeah, okay.
No.
No.
Okay.
Love you!
Mwah. Bye guys. Happy
See ya,
Tuesday.
bye.